Puni.
হ্যাঁ, হ্যাঁ, অলরেডি
Okay.
রেডি আছে
All right.
সবকিছু।
Okay. Okay. So, as you can see on the top left corner of the banner, we are already on live. You can see the
Yes,
live.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see the
All
sun.
right. So, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you properly. Perfect.
All
So
right.
let's begin.
All right. Let's begin the email formally. Hi. Um, Good evening, everyone. Good morning, probably, and good afternoon, depending on the times and wherever you are. This is Proshun, the CEO and founder of ProInfo Edu Consultant. As part of our ongoing webinar promotional activities, today we have had a special guest from a very reputed uh, Malaysian university, Segi University's manager, international marketing, Mr. Muhammad Shamim Ashraf. How are you, sir, today, sir?
I'm good, Mr. Proshun. How are you? Alhamdulillah, I'm good.
I'm fine. Thank you very much indeed. Today, we as part of, as I said, as part of our company's promotional activities, every week we are coming with two new universities, our partners, overseas universities. Like such, we have, as mentioned earlier, that brought Mr. Shamim here. He's presently the manager, international marketing. He's been working for long for this university. Today, he gonna present in details about his university's every insight, including its admission process, all application process, tuition fees, the Bangladeshi community, international community, scholarships, accommodation, or any sort of related questions arising from our end as well as the students' end. And for that, he will start with the presentation. And in between the presentation, if you have any questions, you can put your questions as comment box. I'm gonna present over the. I can put over the screen or banner over there. He's gonna answer the questions. And even after the session, if you feel that you haven't completed any questions and you're supposed to ask any question you have got from us, because sometimes you've got many questions coming during the session, so you can do it later on as well. As it's, you can see, like uh, in the bottom, our website is there, as well as the phone number over there, and on the top you can find the email ID as well. So you can reach us at any point. I'm going to pass it to my university delegate over there, Mr. Shamim, or his team. He's going to explain it later on. So once again, a great welcome to the Education Talk with Segi University, is Pro-Info Edu Consultant based on Dhaka. We have been in this industry for last 10 and a half years. We have been working with 5 continents, with many more recognized universities globally. We are facilitating Bangladeshi students to have their destined and preferable universities abroad. As such, under the corona pandemic circumstances, as we know that we are not able to do office, so visibly we are activating, we are on action in terms of activities, promotional activities are concerned. As being the overseas partner, we are trying to bring our overseas universities in connection with us, to collaborate and to facilitate our genuine students to send abroad. So today, I'm going to start with Mr. Muhammad Shabim Ashraf, mentioned earlier, the manager international marketing. Before that, I'm going to say a few words about the Segi University. Actually, this is one of the oldest university in Malaysia. It started since back 1977, so it's been all over 4 decades, 40 years or so. They have been meticulously working in Malaysian education system. They have 5 campuses as of now. The main campus is in Kota Damansara, the business hub of the capital of the country. Apart from that, they have Kuala Lumpur campus, they have Subang Jaya campus, Sarawak campus, as well as Penang campus. And also they have some their strategic venue in Johor Bahru, I guess. I saw it in the website. Apart from this, they have been working with different, they have offering different ranges of programs. It started with health programs, health science, business and accounting science, communication studies, hospitality and tourism, engineering and the built environment, technology and innovation, American degree programs, English and public relations, law, psychology, foundations, and many more programs. So it's a big venture basically the university is offering, and the opportunities for all ranges of all levels of students from Bangladesh and abroad. And they have also the partnership collaboration with different for overseas universities, especially in UK, Australia, and USA. So they are offering dual awarded programs. That means if you completed a degree from Segi University, so at the same time you're gonna achieve two certificates, namely the Segi University and the overseas university. For most of the cases, the gentleman will explain these things later on. This, as part of their overseas partnership, I can mention few of the names, and then I'm gonna hand over the mic to our partner over there, such as University of London. They have affiliation within United Kingdom, the Central Lancashire. They have the University of Brunei and the Sunderland. And if we think about the Australian collaboration, they have the Southern Queensland University. They have USA like Troy University and many more. So that is it from my at this moment. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the viewers, students, parents, and the stakeholders, those who have been watching this show in Bangladesh and abroad, wherever you are. So I'm gonna pass the mic or the floor to our special guest, gentleman, Mr. Mohammad Shamim Ashraf, Manager, International Marketing, Segi University. Sir, floor is yours now. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Proshun. You actually said a lot about the university and myself. Well, let me just introduce myself first. I'm Shamim Ashraf. I joined Segi University in 2013, January. And since then, I've been working with Segi University. I'm actually based in Malaysia in International Marketing Department of Segi University. International Marketing and International Office, these are the two departments whereby students are recruited and also the visa process is done. So about Sigi University, we have in total 5 campuses so far, and the campus I'm from is actually Segi University, which is the flagship campus, and we have another 4 campuses all over Malaysia. And actually, Mr. Proshun has already said a lot. So let me just show a clip of Segi University. It will, I think, it will be better for our student to see what is Segi University all about for those students who doesn't know about Segi. Let me share the screen. I hope you guys can see the screen, right?
Yeah, sure. We can see it, sir.
This is the Segi University main campus. It's a huge campus. Right behind the campus, there is a MRT station. Well, this is the marketing department where students get all the information. This is our multi-purpose hall whereby we conduct any orientation or exams. This is our auditorium. This is the library area. This is our dentistry department, engineering department. Pharmacy department. This is the lounge area, cafeteria. All right, so this was a small video about Segi University. Most of the universities in Malaysia is under higher education ministry, so almost all the programs are similar. But then let me tell you why Segi University is a bit different from other universities. Before this pandemic started, we actually had Dr. Mahathir came in our Segi University and he introduced IR 4.1, 4.0. So IR 4.0 is a platform whereby all the new communication, engineering facilities, online facilities, everything, the way we are thinking is completely different. For example, now it's a age of communication. So for example, this meeting at this moment you definitely cannot come for a spot admission or seminar or exhibition, but then we are actually doing this. So this is one example how we are changing. So in one part, the modern facilities, in one part, in one side, all some of the people, they are actually losing jobs, and in another part, people are actually gaining jobs. For example, those people who is doing IT engineering, those people are getting more and more jobs because of this new technology, new way of doing things, right? So in Seg University, we actually incorporate all those new facilities, new ways of thinking into our program. For example, in IT program, the way we are designing those programs is completely different than other universities. Some of the programs are actually built or inbuilt so that our students can actually get more information, more generalized idea, so that when they graduate, they can get more jobs into the job market. So that's why in Seg University, the employment rate is about 89% in last year in 2019, and we are still continuing that as well. And also another benefit for Segi University is that we have dual award program. Dual award meaning that you'll be studying in Malaysia. Let's say a student wants to go to UK or Australia or America. Those places are quite expensive. Living expenses are definitely very expensive. Then also the tuition fees is going to be super expensive, definitely. But then on the other hand, Malaysia, the living expenses is not that high. In Malaysia, a student can live with just 1,000 to 1,500 ringgit. They actually can live a comfortable life here. But then when you go to US or UK, it's actually going to be almost $1,200. So when you come to State University or when you come to Malaysia, the living expense is actually not that expensive. At the same time, when you are studying in universities in Malaysia, those are actually not expensive compared to universities in UK or America or other places. So here in Segi University, you'll be getting two certificates. One from Segi University because you'll be studying in Segi, and another one is going to be from the partner university. And let's say if you want, you can actually. Most of our programs are 4 years or 3 years. For example, business management, hospitality management, mass communication. Those sort of programs are 3 years program. You can actually make it like 2 plus 1. That means 2 years you can complete in Malaysia, and 1 year you can actually transfer your credit directly to UK or some other countries. So that's one benefit for you. And let's say for those students who doesn't want to go to any other country, they want to just complete their studies in Malaysia, they can also do that. For example, they can actually complete the whole program in Seg University. At the same time, they'll be getting two certificates, one from Seg University, another from our partner university. And those certificate which is given to partner from partner our partner university, there they don't mention like you studied in Malaysia or you studied in State University, as if you studied in their own country, in their own campus. So these are a few benefits that you'll be getting from State University. Also, in State University, the number of students is actually almost 50-50%. Like right at this moment, State University campus, we have 13,000 students. Among them, 50% is international, 50% is local students. So all those international students are coming from 83 countries. So most of our students are coming from Arab countries, Central Asia, then Bangladesh, Pakistan, China, Vietnam. So many students. So when you come here, you will get a multicultural environment. Like this, you'll be having a good network. Like like now the time is globalization. So you'll be having a lot of connection in different countries as well. So this is one of the benefit in State University. Another benefit I would say, here in Segi University, we actually care for our students. In some universities, maybe definitely when a new student comes to Segi University, like in Malaysia or any other university, they would be definitely blurred. So in Segi University, we make sure that each student will get a counselor. So like me, I'm a counselor. So most of my students are from coming from Bangladesh, Pakistan. Some of the students are coming from Arab countries. So I'm actually handling few countries.
So,
So let's say if any student comes here, definitely I'll be guiding them until they complete their bachelor. So these sort of facilities we are actually providing to our students. Uh, Another benefit I would say, mentor-mentee program. Mentor-mentee program meaning like those students who's coming from Bengali medium, so when they come to say university or any other university, there is a cultural shock or there is a shock from like the way they learn things. For example, in I think in SSC, and especially for those students who's coming from SSC and HSC background, they are studying. First of all, they are studying in Bengali medium. Secondly, the way they learn is different. Maybe they have that private tutor and all those things. But then when they come to State University, it's not just lectures that we are giving to our students. It's also tuition we are giving to our students. This is absolutely free. This is a part of the tuition fee, so there is nothing charged extra. So any student who cannot understand in the classroom, they can always call the lecturer or call the seniors, or if there is also mentor. So they can actually call our mentor, and then they can understand any specific topic. So these are few benefits that you can get from State University, and which actually make State University different from other universities. Mr. Proshun, so
okay.
I'm almost done.
Gee,
So let's say if you
or
have any question, please go ahead.
I just would like to clarify one thing. The double degree programs,
Mhm.
actually, that is, I think, one of the unique selling point for Segi University. I mean, those who have been studying over there, if they complete a single degree, say for example, if students from Bangladesh are going there to study the CSC or any business related program, once they
Mhm.
have been completed that program, so when upon the completion of the program, he or she will be awarded with two certificates, one from
Exactly.
the for most of the cases, one from the Seg University and one from the overseas university. And say for example,
Yes.
after completing the students, if a student going to come back to Bangladesh and start a job, so
Yes.
student can produce the certificate of Central Lancashire or Southern
Yes.
Queensland University of Australia. I mean, what about the university or affiliation he or she have with
Yes.
in terms of his or her achieving certificate? So he or she can produce, the student can produce that certificate to the employer in
Yes.
Bangladesh. In that
Yes. They
case,
can.
nobody can understand that whether I've been to there physically for studying this course or receiving, that doesn't matter actually. The certificate has been awarded by that university because the collaboration has been built up in such a way between two universities. So definitely they have the qualification that have. So that's the unique selling point, I guess, a student can secure if they study in a Segi University.
Yes.
At the same
And
time, you
let me
mentioned,
just add one more point. Sorry, Mr.
yeah,
Bhushan. Let me just add
yeah,
one more
yeah,
point.
yeah, sure.
That is, let's say when the student completes the certificate, the way they are getting the certificate is like this. Each time they submit any assignment or each time they sit for any exam, it will be marked one time by Segi University, and also it will be marked by University of Central Lancashire. So how they are actually getting two certificate and two transcript. And these two transcript, the transcript student is getting from State University, may not, the grades may not match with the transcript which is they are getting from University of Central Lancashire. So this will be different, and every year students are paying dual award enrollment fee, which actually includes the name. That means, let's say if I'm a student, my name will be registered in University of Central Lancashire. So if anyone wants to verify whether I was a student over there or not, they can just pick up a call and then call our University of Central Lancashire. They can actually vouch. So it's actually genuine and absolutely authentic certificate.
And another impressive element or factor of the university, in the sense you said almost half of the students over there, those who have been come from different countries. I
Yes.
mean, it's really it's actually, we know that the education is not just about the bookish topics like the what we're getting from the university classroom or books. Rather, it's an wider space of and capturing the idea of cosmopolitan issue, internationalization. It's open up your mind, it shape up your confidence to work with any multinationals or else. So it's a great opportunity, I think.
Yes.
There'll be students
One
over
more
there.
thing.
Yeah,
Sorry, Prashanda.
sure.
One more thing is, let's say if any student who wants to come to Segi University, the location is very important. For example, most of our campuses are actually inside the city areas. In Malaysia, most of the, let's say if it's university, either it's maybe those universities are a bit outside of city areas, but then Segi University location is right into the in the city area, so there is no problem with the communication. And just behind Segi University, which is like 30 second of walking distance, there is a MRT station. With this MRT station, student can go almost everywhere, and accommodation is also very convenient. Just we have Kova Suite, Kova Villa, we have Segi Residence, which is a very big building. So our students, most of our students, I would say 80% of our students will be staying over there. So it's just across the road. So they have to do, let's say if they have like 2 hours of break in the class, so they can actually just go to their home, which is just they just have to cross the road and then come back, which will take about like 2 minutes. So the accommodation is very convenient over there, and communication is much easier. And near to Seg University, there is a shopping mall. That mall name is One Utama. So One Utama is the largest shopping mall in Malaysia, which is in
Oh, really.
just 5 kilometers. Yeah, 5 kilometers distance. So communication wise, Seg University campus is very convenient.
Thank you very much for the information. I've been there a couple of times, but
Yeah,
unfortunately, I didn't know this fact that
yeah.
it is almost adjacent to such a mega shopping mall over there. I would like to bring forth an important issue that conventionally we know that to start university degree, a student has to has 12 years education, whether he or she is from Bangla background or this national curriculum or English medium. But could you please just clear us about the fact that if a student complete his or her O level in English medium and 12 years of schooling in 10 years schooling in Bangladesh national curriculum, and if a student can complete a ZD program or something like that as an alternative of A level, because we know that A level is an extensive programs. Most of the students in our country, we see that after completing the O level, a lot of students actually cannot complete their A level and become very depressed. But
Yeah.
after completing this O level, a student can straight enter into either diploma program, foundation program, certificate program, or doing GED program. They can straight get entry into the main bachelor program. Could you tell me something about this for the understanding of our students?
Yes, it's actually a very good point. Um, First of all, a lot of student thinks they have to complete their O levels and A levels only, or SSC or HSC. Only then they can enter into any university in like outside Bangladesh. But then this is not actually correct. Those students who completed O levels or SSC, they have two options. One option is pre-university program, which we also call foundation program. Foundation program can be foundation in science, foundation in arts, foundation in commerce, depending on the student, whichever they want to choose. Another program we have is diploma program. For example, diploma in engineering, it can be diploma in IT, diploma in business, diploma in other subjects as well, like mass communication or hospitality management. Or we have another new program, which is diploma in restaurant management. So students after completing SSC or O levels, they can actually go for either foundation program or diploma program. For those students who has already completed O levels and SSC or SSC, after that, let's say they have GED. Like we have a lot of students from Bangladesh, they have already completed GED and now they are studying directly for bachelor program. For those students who has SSC, and after that that student completed GED, then if they want to enroll into any Malaysian universities or Segi University for say, they don't have to sit for any IELTS exam. So they will be exempted from IELTS exam. All right. So GED is already a English medium. So medium of, as long as the medium of instruction is in English, which is GED medium of instruction is in English, so they don't have to sit for any IELTS exam. They can straight away go directly for the bachelor program. Those students who has completed SSC, HSC, they have to sit for IELTS exam. Or in Bangladesh, some of the schools or colleges, their medium of instruction is in English, even though they are completing SSC or HSC. Like we in Bangladesh, we call a version. So like English version or Bengali version. So let's say those people who has done English version in SSC and HSC, they also don't have to sit for any IELTS exam. And those people who has completed bachelor program in Bangladesh, they also don't have to sit for any IELTS exam when they apply for MBA program.
Okay, so could you just tell us something about the process, like how many intakes you have, and if a students would like to go to your university, what would be the process for the journey to be there?
Okay. The first step is actually very simple. A lot of students actually they go through our agents. So maybe because when they apply online, they don't know how to do the process. So they actually prefer to go through an agent. Like Mr. Proshun is there, Pro Info. So let's say if any student is going to Pro Info, Mr. Proshun, he will collect all the academic documents. For example, let's say if someone is interested in bachelor program, so Mr. Proshun will collect O level, A level, or GED program, or and also at the passport info page. He will email to the university. University, if the student is eligible, university will send an eligibility letter. In the eligibility letter of Segi University, we mention all the fee structure. For example, in the first payment, how much have to pay? In the second payment, when is it, and how much you have to pay, and for what reason you are paying. In the placement letter of Segi University, I'm not sure about other university, but in Segi University, we make sure that before the student joins Segi University or apply for Segi University, they get all the fee structure so that in later cases, the parents they don't face any problem. So in the placement letter, we'll mention everything like student name, student passport numbers, which intake student will be joining, and all those things, and how much it will be the tuition fees. So placement letter is a complete. You can say offer letter, or yeah, offer letter or eligibility letter. So once you get it, then you just have to pay the initial payment, which is 3,115 ringgit in Bangladeshi. Unity is supposed to be about 66 or 67,000, depending on the exchange rate. With that eligibility letter, student directly can go to any bank in Bangladesh and transfer the money directly to Segi University account. All the account details will be also mentioned in the eligibility letter. So once they pay this initial payment, we will start the visa process. So visa process in Malaysia is very simple. It's very simple. The reason I'm saying it's very simple is because it's actually visible. Like any student from Bangladesh, they can actually sit in their home and they can actually check how the process is going on. Just go to Education Malaysia Global Services website. In short, it's called EMGS. Just go into their website, just put in your passport number, your country, and check one box. And after that, you'll be seeing your visa status. So it's going to be like this: 0%. That means we have already registered you in EMGS. We mean in the university. Then it will become 15%. 15% meaning EMGS will be verifying all your academic certificates. Then it will become 32%. That means EMGS has approved your application and transfer the file to immigration department. Once it's 70%, that means you actually can download your visa approval letter. In short, we call it VAL. So when it's 70%, you are eligible to apply for single entry visa. There are two ways to apply for single entry visa from Bangladesh. One is directly go and submit your passport to any travel agent. They will help you to get the single entry visa endorsed on your passport. Another way is online. So there is another website named Window Malaysia. From there also you can just pay online. You can the payment is about 3,200 Bangladeshi taka. So you just pay online and you will get a single entry visa. Okay, that takes only 1 day. So the main visa is actually you can get it from the website. You don't have to like get it downloaded or anything. It's everything in Malaysia is online. So there, like let's say if you apply to Canada or Australia, you have to compile lots of documents and then submit to the embassy. Embassy might reject you, embassy might approve you. But then let's say if you are applying to Segi University, before we submit your document to immigration, we make sure that your documents are 100% correct. Like Mr. Proshun has been working with us for long time, almost like 5 years, right, Mr.
Yeah,
Proshun?
kind of, yeah,
Yeah,
even
I think
more.
it's more than 5 years now. So all those students who he applied to Segi University, all of them they got their visa. The reason behind it is because we make sure that any of our student or any of our agent doesn't get disappointed, because one rejection in the visa process that actually creates a lot of problem for the university. So we will make sure that your documents and everything is clear. And let's say if your documents if there is any mistake in your documentation, we'll definitely tell you. You just fix that problem and you'll be good to go. So in Malaysia, the visa process is absolutely visible, which is very convenient for the students and parents because they are the one who's paying. So yeah, the process is very simple. Then once you have the single entry visa, come to Malaysia. We are the one who is arranging the airport pickup. So from airport, we will pick you up from airport and then put you in our hostel. Or let's say if you have any family member here in Malaysia, you can also stay in their house as well. Then the next day you'll come to see us, and then we'll complete rest of the process for you. All right. So the process is very simple in Malaysia.
Yeah, I think we can say it in a way like that. That's the beauty of the Malaysian visa process. In terms
Correct.
of other countries, they don't have to show the sponsorship letter, like how many you have in your bank or your parents have. That mean they sponsor. You don't have that sort of hassles at all, mostly. Secondly, is you can trace your application phase by phase wherever you are. You can see the government website over there. Once you launch the visa, I mean, university will submit your documents to the EMGS or the education ministry. The student can watch the progress, how long you're.
Mm.
That is an unique case as well in this visa processing industry. And also, if we think about the ratio, as Mr. Shamim said, before submitting the documents to the government, we the overseas recruiting partners as well as universities altogether scrutinize our documents very minorly, that if there are any fake documents has been produced or not. So once we clarify the issues, university submit the documents, and once we submit the documents, we can say that the success rate is almost 100% because there is a rejection. And once you get the well, you can straight apply for the stamping on your passport and you can fly. It's very flexible. And also I can add up another facilities for the students, like once you get the visa, you can take the cash sometimes with you to deposit in the university. In most of the cases, if we feel like the student is genuine and have good intention. uh, Excuse me. So these sort of facilities we are having with Malaysia as well as the Segi universities. And I would like to ask you, like the initial fees, government fees we have to pay. But name is EMGS. How much is the approximate fees for your university
Uh,
student has to pay?
the EMGS fee is 2,150 ringgit, but then we have to add another 1,000 ringgit. That 1,000 ringgit is the application fee. and also program registration fee. So in total, the initial payment is going to be 3,150 ringgit. In Bangladeshi taka, it's going to be around 67 Bangladeshi thousand. Yeah, 67,000 Bangladeshi taka.
All right. Okay. So um, I would like to ask you one more question for Bangladeshi perspective. I mean, if a student want to finish his science related program or commerce related program, because these two areas of study are very demanded from our part, Bangladeshi part, engineering or business. So in that case, what about the approx BDT currency parents has to expend to acquire a degree of science, I mean engineering or science related average, I mean approx or business, like approx if you say.
Okay. For business management program and IT related program, these are the two major program I would say. Most of the Bangladeshi students are interested these days, IT and business. So IT and business, the total tuition fee with the dual hour tuition fee is going to be, let's say if you include visa fee, enrollment charges, tuition fee, exam fee, each and every fee together is going to be around 77,500 Bangladeshi taka. So it's going to be around like 17 lakh Bangladeshi taka.
All
Sorry,
right, so
77,500 Bangladesh Malaysian ringgit. Sorry, I'm just getting confused between ringgit and Bangladeshi taka. So
70,000, right, approx. So
yeah,
uh,
77,000 Malaysian ringgit for the total program.
like
So
it's about
approximately in Bangladeshi taka, it's going
40,
to be around
40 lakhs,
16 lakh. Yeah, 16, 17
40
lakh.
to, yeah. So in that context, if you compare, like if you want to get it, like if you complete a degree from Segi University, you're gonna get a double awarded programs. I mean, I'm gonna get a
Yes,
degree from UK or Australia degrees,
correct.
certificates. So if you're not gonna do that program in that particular university directly, I'm gonna
Yes,
expend like 4 times more than
yes,
what I am
correct.
uh, paying to the Segi University. So realistically, if a student study in Segi University, then he can save three-fourth of their tuition fees alone, let alone the other fees, because definitely the accommodation and the living expenses is much more higher to those universities in comparison to the Malaysian universities as well. And I'd like to ask about the English language proficiency issue. Like,
Mhm.
most of the students in our country belongs to the national curriculum, Bangla
Yes.
medium background, like the SSC and HSC. So once a student completes his or her HSC here, and if
Mhm.
he or she want to start education over there in main program, I mean, science or commerce. So, what English language proficiency he or she has to pose?
Okay, there are few actually. We have first of all, the most acceptable one is ILS. So let's say if the student is from Bangla medium, they can sit for IELTS exam while they are applying for the university, because we don't need the IELTS exam document in the beginning. Once the student visa is already done and he's ready to come and join the program, that time we are going to need that one. Let's say if he doesn't have it from Bangladesh, then he can come to Segi University and we can actually provide them about 2 or 3 levels of English, which is about 2 or 3 months. Then they can sit for the IELTS exam here in Malaysia. So for the visa requirement, we don't have any like challenges for IELTS exam. So IELTS exam can be done later as well.
I see. Sometimes we get questions from the parents, especially from the girls. What about the arrangement of their accommodation by the university, or if not by the university, if they want to stay independently on their own, what sort of facilities you have available for Bangladeshi communities? Can you tell me something about that? Or how many
Sure.
Bangladeshi communities over there as well, and how they're performing? You can say these issues as well.
Okay. Let's talk about the hostel issue first. First of all, some students, especially those students like our girl students, when they come here, they prefer to stay in our hostel because they feel like, even the parents also feel like if they stay in a university hostel, they will be more secure. So most of our students who's girl, they usually stay in our hostel. Some of them, because a lot of our students, they come with their parents. So when they come with their parents, parents would like to see our hostel, or let's say if there is any private accommodation, they would like to see that one. So in the beginning, we'll give them about 3 days hostel, which is absolutely free. So they can come here, stay there in our free hostel, and then they can look for their own accommodation as well. So we have all the facilities. For example, if anyone wants to stay in our hostel, they can do that. If they want to stay by themselves, like if they have any friends, they want to stay with their friends, or if they have any family member or uncle or auntie, they can actually stay with them as well. So we don't have any like restriction on that part. So that's actually fine. And I would say Bangladeshi students are absolutely fantastic, because I think our Bangladeshi students are doing really well. To name one or two, I would say Kamruzzaman Jyoti. This guy applied for our mechanical engineering program. He already came here like 3 years ago. I know this guy because he is so humble, he is so nice, and he's a brilliant student. And he's doing mechanical engineering in Segi University. So he is getting 30 to 70% scholarship in each and every semester. And his current CGPA is 4 out of 4. So I would say in Segi University, if you are genuine student, if you have the intention in your heart to study, if you are going to the classes regularly, if you're submitting all your assignments on time, if you are in a good terms with your teachers, for sure you will get very good result. And we have made scholarship which is like 30 to 70% scholarship. Let's say if you can do well in your even from the first semester, let's say in this semester you did really well, let's say your CGPA is 3.8 out of 4. In the next semester you'll be getting 30 to 70% scholarship, depending on the scholarship rate, or depending on the result. Then if you did well, you can get another time. So like this, a lot of students are getting, especially Bangladeshi students are getting scholarship. And we have a lot of Bangladeshi students who just completed their program and they got jobs right away. Because being a SEG university, if you search online, actually SEG University is a group of companies, and we are public listed company. That means unlike other universities, we are actually very big. In terms of the number of students, we have 28,000 students currently studying at this moment in our 5 campuses. So I would say State University is a very big university, and we have a lot of partners, like a lot of companies like telco companies like DG, Maxis. A lot of our students are getting jobs in there. And the program, which is very good at this moment in terms of job facility, I would say IT. In Malaysia, the local language is Malay or Chinese or Indian. Indian meaning like Tamil. And these are three races we have in Malaysia. But then
Right.
IT is one of the program which doesn't require any English. You don't require any language. So let's say if you're good in programming, if you're good in networking, if you are good in system design, you will definitely find a job. And before Tun Mahathir was here, he made sure that those like IR 4.0, this actually emphasize on the more jobs in IT sector. So I would say for Bangladeshis, IT is definitely a very good career path for you guys.
All right. When we are talking about the accommodation, the automatically another correlated topic comes here regarding the food, community, and the weather. Could you
Yes.
just tell us for our students about the food? I mean, how what about the Bangladeshi communities over there in Malaysia apart from the students, and what sort of foods like people when our students are going abroad like western countries or somewhere else, sometimes they feel some sort of problem to adopt the food habit over there. So, what are the
Mhm.
similarities of the availability of Bangladeshi kind of foods over there and the Bangladeshi communities over there? And if you can say about something about the weather as well.
Okay.
So, food,
Uh,
community, and weather.
Sure. The weather in Malaysia is mostly hot. It's not really cold, because when we think about outside countries, we usually think about or winter weather. But then in Malaysia, it's mostly hot. Here we have two seasons. One is rainy season, and another one is summer. But then I wouldn't say it's very, very hot. I would say the temperature is about 33, 34, something like that. And most of the time it's raining. So, and it actually rains in a specific time. For example, in last few days, it's been raining in the afternoon. So once it's rain, and actually in Malaysia, everywhere you go, it's actually aircon. Like when you are entering into the university, the whole university is aircon, and you don't feel the heat when you are entering into the car. When you are entering into the MRT station or train station or bus, everywhere is aircon, and so yeah, so you actually don't feel the heat. And then it's not like Saudi or anything. It's not a deserted area, so it's actually very nice. The weather is very nice, very soothing. And about Bangladeshi community here in Malaysia, I would say a lot of Bangladeshis are here in Segi University. At this moment, we have about like 465 Bangladeshi students currently studying. That's a lot of
Lot
students
of
actually.
lot of
Yeah, that's a
students
lot of
here.
students. So right in front of Segi University, there is one place called Kova Square. In Kova Square, you can see three Bangladeshi restaurant. So over there also you can go. You can have Bangladeshi food. So there is no problem with the food section. In Malaysia, Malaysia is called Food Heaven. Here you will see a lot of food. For example, Indonesian, Chinese, Indian food, Bangladeshi food, Arab food. We have all sorts of food here. And in Kova Square and also in nearby areas, you will see a lot of multicultural people, a lot of variation of food. So I don't think, in terms of food, you will miss anything. And the community is
Uh,
very, very nice and very kind. So I don't think any Bangladeshi student who comes here, I don't think they will face any kind of problem.
okay, could you tell me something about the transportation system for students, and like how it's correlated with the campus, with the city center, or traveling for their socialization in weekend? So where they can go and transfer themselves through different way of transportation methods like
Sure.
underground, taxi, or this sort of what sort of activities they have.
Okay. For example, like if you are talking about transportation, the communication system in Kota Damansar is very convenient. For example, when you are a student, you will be getting a student card. If you have a student card or metro train card, all the fare will be half for you. If you are a student, all the fare will be half for you.
Wow,
So that
that's
means
great.
from Segi University, there is a we call it Kota Damansara station. From Segi University to the station, the walking distance is only 30 seconds. So with that 30-second walking distance, you can get into the train. You can go to almost everywhere. And let's say if you're talking about KLCC or city center, the distance is only 5 stops. So anywhere you want to go is very convenient. Let's say if you're talking about a car or taxi, you can rent a car. A lot of Bangladeshi students actually they rent a car for weekend. They go somewhere with their friends in Malaysia. You can see a lot of places that you can go to. So you are never gonna be bored here actually, because here you have access to almost everywhere and you can go almost everywhere. A lot of students I know few students, they like to go to Indonesia, they like to go to Thailand, they like to go to Singapore, which is just nearby country. You can actually go to Thailand by bus. You can also go to Singapore by bus as well. Or if you are renting a car, you can also go there as long as you have visa. So once you have Malaysian visa, student visa, getting a visa for Singapore or Indonesia, because in Bangladesh they don't need Indonesian visa to enter. But then let's say if you want to go anywhere, it will be much easier. And a lot of students actually ask me, like once they complete their bachelor, they want to go to some other countries, for example Hungary or Australia or New Zealand or America. From here you can process for your visa and go to that countries as well. So that's very easy, very convenient.
Okay, so when you're coming back to the program again, I'll ask just two more questions. I'm going to ask you. I'm sorry to
No
asking you
problem,
so
no
many
problem.
questions, but it coming randomly and some questions coming from the comments end as well. I'm not going to pass all them to here, but I'm just taking the synopsis out of them and just trying to put it. What is the basically the credits on a student has to complete in general business or science programs, and what is the duration, 3 or 4 years? They're asking actually from, I know the answer, but I just
Okay,
want to
all
know
right.
from you. They want to know
Credit
from
wise,
you.
yes, credit wise, let's say if you're talking about business program or hospitality management program, any program which is 3 years, is 120 credit for the entire program. 120 credit for the entire program. The
Right.
reason why in Malaysia is 3 years and why in Bangladesh is 4 years bachelor. A lot of people actually ask me this question. The reason, the simple reason is in Bangladesh we follow American system, but then in Malaysia we are following UK system. In terms of UK system, when you are considering HSC or higher secondary school certificate or A levels, in some countries or in America, HSC is considered as grade 11, even though it's actually grade 12. So in Malaysia or in UK, this grade 12 is considered as grade 12. So you don't have to complete one foundation year to do your bachelor. In Bangladesh, you will see, like when you are entering into bachelor program, it's a 4 years program. At the same time, with the core subjects, you are also studying a lot of prerequisition subjects, or you can say foundation subjects. So that's the difference actually. In Bangladesh, you are doing a lot of extra subjects which is non-credit. In Malaysia, you are not doing even one single subject which is not credit. So that means all the subjects that you are doing in Malaysia is all credit, and in Bangladesh you have to do some non-credit subject, some credit subjects, and also some extra subjects, I guess. So that's why in Bangladesh it's 4 years and in Malaysia it's actually 3 years, because in Malaysia that HSC is considered as 12 years. So that's why you don't have to complete one extra subject or one extra year as your foundation.
Yeah, it's good information actually got from you. This final phase we have come actually by now. I'd like to share with some concepts about the parents and the people in Bangladesh or sometimes somewhere else, that people think that as our personal life, social life has been stagnant. So people think that the educational system or the flow in Malaysian universities or else has been stopped. But could you just tell me actually fact that if a students want to save their session, I mean, if they continue their education, because we understand this Corona pandemic, the circumstances we have been coming through, this is not forever. It's gonna be end. Maybe within 3 months, 6 months, or whatever. We don't know actually until and unless the vaccination is coming up. But we can expect that it's gonna be over like the very first quarter of next year, or even we are just lucky enough, maybe some part of the world will be open by the end of the last quarter of this 2020. But under this present situation, if a student want to continue education in Malaysia, especially in your university, uh, can they actually start education in September or October intake and continue their education online, paying their tuition fees? Could you tell us something about the optimistic issues, positive things about these issues?
Okay. One good thing about Segi University is because the way we do things is very fast. From our top management, we call it new normal. New normal. So it's a term. It means like the way we used to do things now has changed, and it has become a new normal for us. For example, in Malaysia, from 18 March 2020, we had lockdown in Malaysia. So but then none of our classes were expelled, none of our classes were stopped, none of our exam was stopped. Everything we have continued. Like those students who were supposed to sit for final exam on April, they did, but then they did it online. All right. So for example, a lot of students also who applied during February, March, April, May, June, even now also a lot of Bangladeshi students are applying. What we are doing, those student who has already applied, we are still processing their visa. From EMGS, it will become 32%. And also in the EMGS, they will mention now you can start online classes. This is actually Higher Education Ministry requirement or notice from Higher Education Ministry. So Higher Education Ministry is giving the permission to our international students, saying that now even if you are in your home country, you still can join your classes online, you can sit for exams online, and you can continue your studies. So no matter what the pandemic is, we are not stopping anywhere. So at this moment, we are still processing for visa, we are still continuing our education, we are still continuing our classes online. So we had orientation this May intake. So in the May intake, the orientation was done online, and also now they are doing the classes also, which is also online. So it's actually exactly like this kind of platform whereby me and Mr. Proshun we are talking. So let's say in the classroom, let's say this is a classroom. So in this classroom, it will be, let's say Mr. Proshun is a teacher and I'm a student. With me maybe there will be another 9 students. So we are doing things like this. It's going to be a two-way conversation or two-way communication. So this is how we are running the classes. And in the Segi University, we have one website which is called Blackboard. From Blackboard you can download all your course materials. You don't need any book. You can just download all the materials from which is absolutely free. You can just download and you can study. And in the classroom, you can actually ask your teacher like how the things are, or if you have any confusion with any topic, you can also clarify the confusion as well. So at this moment, we are still running our orientation, we are still running our classes, we are still doing everything from online, even though if our students are at home. But then once, I'm actually hoping from July we are going to open our international flights. So once we open our international flights, students will start coming in to Malaysia. When they come in Malaysia, they have to stay 14 days in quarantine. All right, so it's going to be maybe in the hotel or in the hostel, maybe it can be anywhere. And in that 14 days we will also do a COVID-19 test from Segi University, and once the student is good to go, they can just join physically, no problem. So there is a 14 days barrier, but then hopefully there shouldn't be any problem. And even let's say if the worst case scenario, if until September there is no flight or the international border haven't opened yet, still we can run the program online and students will get the same certificate. It's not going to be any different than a physical class. It's just that they are not here in Malaysia physically. That's all.
Okay. What about the tuition fees a student has to pay for that to start the online as usual, like what they used to be? I mean,
It's just going to be as usual, as usual. But then let's say because of this pandemic, a lot of people actually financially got affected. So if the student says that now he cannot pay the full tuition fee, they can pay half, they can join the classes, and another half they can pay like 2 months, 3 months, 4 months later. We actually don't mind, because we, being Segi University, we are actually quite big. So here we don't force, at this moment we are not forcing any student to pay the full tuition fee and all those things. They can just pay the tuition fee, maybe half or whatever it is. They can join. At least our students should not get affected for this pandemic.
thank you very much, Mr. Shaming, giving us the in-depth information about the Segi University, the Malaysian education system as well, and also the present situation of Malaysia and the government strategy as to how they can proceed on their education system for international students. And I would like to give thanks on behalf of Pro Info Edu Consultant, being the CEO and founder of this company, to all of our audience and the students, parents, and whoever watching this programs, Education Talk with Seg University Malaysia. And this is the end of the show. Actually, if you have any sort of further information, regarding the Segi University, Mr. Shamim is always very vigilant and in cooperating mood with us. So you can see on the top of the banner the company email ID, and the bottom you can see the scrolling down the phone number and the email ID as well. So if you drop your any sort of inquiries, questions, or for assessing your documents, you can email to us. We can pass it to the Mr. Shamim and his team for further assessment, or any sort of questions you can communicate me directly as per the phone number in the below. So once again, thank you very much indeed, Mr. Shamim. It's a privilege to be here with you, and we hope we all together, this whole world will come up ending this unprecedented corona uh, pandemic, and will bring an end of this humanitarian disaster as soon as possible. So thank you very much
Thank
once
you
again,
very much, Mr.
everybody.
Proshun, to
And
have me here.
if you have
Thank you
your
very much.
last, if you have your any last wishings or anything to say, sir.
Yes. So thank you very much, Mr. Proshun, to give me this opportunity to be here. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful session, very informative as well. And I really hope this we actually recover from this pandemic as soon as possible, because but then since this thing has happened, but then we actually cannot stop. We still have to move on in our life, maybe not the usual way, but then now we have this new way of communication, new way of doing things, so we'll just move on. No matter what, nothing actually can stop us. Hopefully
That's
we'll get
that.
through this very soon.
That's absolutely correct. We are the greatest creature in this world. We have to move on. We have to look for the sunny
True.
days coming. So
Yes.
let's be optimistic, and hope it's gonna be end as soon as possible. Let's stay home as much as we can and save us and our families and relatives. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much once again from Pro Infinity Consult. Thank you, Mr. Shamim. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you, Mr.
That's
Proshun.
the end. Tata.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.